a lesson. So when I run into rejection, I know it's only redirection. I see the blessings right beside me. The chances of quitting are likely. I do it like I'm in my Nikes. Don't make excuses, they never excite me. Boxes, boxes, I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it, stop it. Quitting was never an option. Exhausted, exhausted. This passion is never exhausted. And you cannot stop it. Nah, you cannot stop it.
Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning, Knicks universe. Welcome back to another episode of the Knicks Morning Brew on this Monday, November 20th. Like always, I'm your guy Hector, joined by my brothers and cohorts in this thing called the Knicks community. I got my brother Phil or Caps and the one and only Jiggaman Porto.
What up, what up, what up, what up? Oh, Phil, you even got a bougie coffee cup? Monday morning mute.
And he's muted. He forgets to unmute himself.
I will get used to this at one point.
Sooner or later, you know.
No bougie cup. We just moved into the new mobile trailer home, so no longer at the townhome, no longer at a friend's house. So this is actually our bedroom / my studio, and all of our mugs are in storage because we haven't gotten in yet. So the only thing I had was my old-fashioned cocktail cup. So that's what I'm drinking my coffee out of this morning.
Feels like I love my bourbon all the time. I'll just have it in a coffee cup.
we got 13 Knicks games so far in the season, and Phil still hasn't learned how to unmute his mic in the morning. How you doing?
Yo, it doesn't even all last season. We had all last season, and I still haven't figured it out. So I had all summer with Knicks nightcap, and I still can't figure it out. So it is what it is.
We'll figure it out one day, right? But today is an episode I was looking forward to. Our guest, he'll be joining us around like 11:15, 11:30. But our CINTRON, it is the new addition to WFAN. I've been listening to him ever since he came aboard WFAN, and my guy, he has done an amazing job representing for us Latinos, us Boricuas on the fan. The only other Boricua that's on the fan is Ricky Ricardo, and he does the SAP second language translation for the Yankees broadcast. So having a guy like Al CINTRON, I'm super excited to join into this conversation. I'm super excited that the Knicks are 6-1 over the last 7 games. 6 of those victories, boys, check it out. 6 of those victories, we've scored over 120 points. And 6 of those wins.
Ridiculous.
When was the last time? Do you guys remember the last time in a 7-game span or a 6-game winning span that the Knicks scored 120 over 6 games and 3 of them?
Bro, it's been forever. You know what's even crazier, bro, is hearing commentators and analysts as they're sitting there and talking about this Knicks and their ball movement. I'm like, what? You have to hit like rewind. Did I say it again? They're like, Tibbs really found a way to utilize the ball movement. What? Like it's a new world. It's a new like ball movement.
Yeah, I feel like I'm living in another dimension. Like it feels like one of those movies where like you find a genie in a lamp and you make your wishes and they actually start coming true, and you're just like, holy crap. Like for a year and a half, the things we asked for last year and in the offseason, we are starting to now see from both our players and, here we go, our coach. So I can say that we have seen a lot of improvement, and it's really exciting to watch right now.
Facts.
It really is, man. You know, and it's funny because a lot of years we have so much that we can go back and forth. And obviously, you know, fan base will still go back and forth on certain stuff. But if there's anything we can all agree on is the things that we've been complaining about, we're starting to see come to light to where you really can't complain about it. Like, for instance, I'm going to jump right into this one. I would love to see our point guard pass more. You know, I would really like to see more assists. I saw 7 assists. Is that right? 7?
Yeah.
7 Friday from JB? Right? And he still put up them 32 points. Like, things are really starting to flow. Julius looking to pass the ball first. Like, the ball movement is ridiculous, which, Phil, you know, you sent me this topic, and it was, you know, the bigger storylines. Is Tibbs adjusting right in front of our eyes? Are we seeing a new world of Tibbs? But go ahead, Hick. I saw you put your finger up. You're about to say something.
No, yeah, I just wanted to say something real quick. I just got a text message. Phil, 1999 just texted me and they said they want their Christina Aguilera Genie in a Bottle reference to come back to them. All right, so shout out to you for that Genie in a Bottle reference. Shout out to the chat as well. Let's do a little bit of the roll call before we get into that topic that you just brought up there. My guy Delano still, Julius in the building. Salute, salute, salute. Kareem Grant's in the building. How you doing, Kareem? Savage NYC, how you doing? Kerry Cox is in the building. Jacob Petruzzi's in the building. How you doing, Jacob? We got my guy King Ribby RM is in the building. Of course, the Blorange Tears family. Corey Lee is in the building. Salute to you, my guy. Julian Brum, salute, salute, salute. Petruzzi says there's 17 in the building and there's 9 likes. So smack at the like button for your boy before we try the conversation. But no, Celso, you brought it up. It seems like Tom Thibodeau this season, from what you've seen when it comes to the ball movement, when it comes to just how players are playing, when you see the ascension of RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, his evolution as well, I think this team is changing gears in the better direction. Last year around this time, we were still trying to figure out what's our identity. Are we going to get to 500? We didn't get to 500. We're already a few games over 500, right? 3 games in a row that we just won. 6 out of the last 7. I think this team has finally figured out their direction, and with the big ragu in the starting lineup, I think that's the big takeaway from this weekend.
Yeah. So, to your point on, what we texted about when it comes to Tibbs, all last season, we were saying like, okay, how far are you willing to allow yourself to grow as a coach? Like we saw certain things that we needed to see change that he did last year, such as shortening the rotation, which at first made you scratch your head, but then it paid off. So it was like, okay, he was right there. But it was certain things that we were just like, the NBA is not the same anymore. Like we need to be more of a ball movement kind of team and not so ISO focused. And we need to actually defend and also produce from the 3-point line. And that was our biggest desire. And in these last few games, what have we seen? We've seen excessive ball movement. And when it comes to the 7, a lot of people get upset that people are like, yo, Jalen Brunson needs to pass more. And they're like, he's a scoring point guard. Well, yes, but still passing makes him better as a scoring point guard. Like having the threat of the pass makes him better. So where people are either or is where I get upset, because I'm like, no, people don't need to update their takes about Jalen Brunson assisting more. This isn't a, new thing. It's a growth thing as our whole team is starting to play more as a unit than individual players on the same team. So salute to him for growing in that area of being able to get his 30 plus points, but also get those 7-8 assists. Same with Julius Randle, being able to get those 7-8 assists. And I have to give it credit to Tibbs. I feel like it has to be coming from the top down, when it comes to some of these changes, because the players are great. I think some of the things we saw from Donte is just Donte being Donte, not necessarily being coached, which we'll talk about when we talk about like that starting lineup position later. But I think a lot of the decisions that are being made are Tibbs actually doing the things that we have desired for so long to see him do. We're doing great on defense, which is beautiful, defending even the 3-point line, but also nailing our threes now. I think it's huge to see the growth over these last few games of our Knicks. And if it's not something that's just like a rarity, but actually who we are now, we could be contenders. We really can be.
Yeah, I mean, you look at, I saw the tweet from Alan Hahn breaking it down, right? 10th. Yeah. And let me go back to it so you guys can see it here. I'll put it on the screen. But I mean, you said it, Phil, dominating the boards too. First in offensive rebounds, first in defensive rebounds, first in rebound percentage, right? I mean, the stats are there. The team is looking great. But I don't want to play devil's advocate, but I got to a little bit. I feel like we're on a high, especially because these last 2 games were games we should have won, right? And it's like, oh, yeah, we're killing it. I think tonight really gives us a bigger deep dive look at our team, because let's be real, those Timberwolves are looking great. Like, to me, this is going to be a game where if we can produce what we were producing against these Hornets, then we're having a crazy conversation come Wednesday morning with Jerry with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now we're able to sit there and say, hey, it's not a matter of it's just the easy teams that you beat. But I mean, again, you can put a lot of the credit to Tibbs, which is great. We want to see change, and that's what I'm happy about, right? Mm-hmm. But I love the fact that the conversations we're having now aren't about us being shitty. It's about things getting better, and we're still finding ways to be like, well, what's wrong with the better? There's nothing wrong with us getting better. There's pieces that we can argue about, like who should be in that starting lineup. But that doesn't automatically mean, oh, you're a Grimes hater. I know we're going to jump on that. We're going to wait for Al to get here, right? So we can talk about the Divincenzo stuff too. But overall, as a unit, you cannot be down when you are 6-1 over the last 7. You cannot be mad when you're 8-5. Like, it's okay. Hey, you ready for this, guys? This might be the hottest take I give all year.
Oh, ready?
It's okay to love your Knicks. Oh, holy shit.
I think even us Knicks fans with our optimism, there's still going to be a portion of our fan base that will still hate this team no matter how good they actually play. But we got our guests backstage, and I want to cue this up perfectly. So if you can, let's do the transition to bring up our guy, Mr. Al Cintron. Theo Al is in the building. So come on, let's do it.
Everybody's uncle from WFAN, Al Cintron.
Yeah. What's good, fellas?
How you doing, brother? How you doing? Listen, I've been telling the chat before you got here, I've been watching you ever since right before you got onto WFAN. And since you've been on WFAN, you've been holding it down and you've been representing for us Latinos in sports media. It's not that many out there that are on sports radio. Richie Ricardo, he covers the Yankees, but he does the Spanish side of the announcing things. So definitely appreciate you. I found out about you, Al. Honestly, I live in Inwood, right? So my Facebook community tab, somebody brought it up. It's like, listen, there's this guy. He covers the Mets. He's a Washington Commanders fan.
Don't bring them up. Don't bring them up.
I'm sorry.
Don't bring them up today.
Let's leave that alone.
Don't bring that up today, please.
Let me rewind.
All right.
But no, somebody in my community tab put me onto you, and like right when I looked you up, I kid you not, on everything that's holy. Right when I looked you up on Twitter, you actually followed my KNICKS Morning Brew account on Twitter right when I was looking you up. So I was like, oh, this is destined from God. We got to get this guy on the show and have conversations. So thank you for joining us this morning.
Can you hear me? Because I don't really do these things. You can hear me?
No, you're perfect.
Yeah.
You're perfect.
All right, good.
Yeah, but feel free anytime he says Mets or Commanders to just mute the mic.
No. The Mets all good, brother. Mets all good. When we sign Yamamoto, it'll be all good. Commanders, I don't even want to hear about. Please, the Giants have 3 wins and 2 against my team. Enough. Enough.
That's rough. I'm right there. We had one job to fucking do, and we didn't do the job. But
with 2 backup quarterbacks, Tyrod Taylor and fucking Danny DeVito's lost cousin. Come on, man. Come on.
No, but Al,
or you
shout
could
out
be
to the chat.
Look
Go
at
ahead,
me,
Sos.
bro. I'm a Jets fan. I gotta watch DeVito play better than my entire freaking team. So
Hey, but you blame your fucking GM for not having a backup plan. Yeah, and it's not all on Wilson, and Hackett sucks at play calling, bro. 2 years in a row. Go look what Denver's doing right now.
Yeah.
Look what Denver's doing right now. How bad does Hackett look now?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody knew Hackett was good. Oh man, you know what? We'll talk about this.
But this is the positive thing. Knicks have won 6 out of 7.
Let's go.
Go ahead.
What has been your thoughts so far? When it comes to the Knicks this season, we had a couple of games that would close down the line. We could have took at least one of those games against the Boston Celtics. But overall, what's your thoughts on this team and how it's been over the last few years when it comes to consistency?
1 year we make the playoffs. Next year we suck. 1 year we make the playoffs. And I'm hoping we break that streak this year. When the Knicks move the ball, they are beautiful to watch. Look at the wins they have, 25 plus assists in those games. And the losses, they're assisting the teams, which means they're playing that dribble. Let's watch somebody shoot the ball. And it's garbage. It's garbage basketball to watch. When they're moving the ball like they are now, they are fun to watch and they're tough to beat.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. And that's one thing we've been preaching, is like, when we move the ball, we look incredible and effective, and it leads to wins. So the frustrating part for me is after we see it take us to a victory, going back to the next game, and then watching them revert back to their ISO ways. Like, that is the most frustrating part, is if you feel like you have a winning recipe, why are you going to go back to the thing that like has led us to, not be an effective team? So there's a quote that says like, a fool returns back to its folly. And that's what I feel like sometimes watching these games. I'm just like, we had 20-something assists last game, walked away with the victory. And now we're like at like 14 assists and we're getting our teeth kicked in. Like if we keep going with the effective ball movement, we are a great team if we do that. But when we walk away from it, we go back to our foolishness and it winds up being something that, winds up kicking us in the teeth in the end.
It's not fun to watch. That type of basketball is not fun to watch. I know everybody loves Carmelo Anthony. It was fun when it worked, but let's be honest here. Carmelo Anthony's tenure as a Knick was a failure. It was a failure across the board. From, we're going to championship. That never happened, not even a conference finals. And people don't remember that Rasheed Wallace getting hurt in that series versus the Pacers was a big deal. Now, I know he was in the back end of his career, but he would have kept Hibbert away from the basket because he can hit the outside jumper. When fourth quarter came around with those teams, Carmelo was washed. He was done. He had no energy because he put everything into the first three quarters. Knicks had no plan in the fourth quarter. It was terrible basketball to watch with him, and it's terrible basketball to watch with whoever's on the team now. Moving the ball. Go watch Golden State. I know people hate on the Warriors, but they are beautiful to watch. The ball barely touches the floor. They move the ball. Everybody's cut. Everyone's involved. You might have Steph throw up 50, but guess what? Clay can throw up 30. The whole team is a Wiggins 15, 20. The whole team's involved. When the Knicks move the ball, I can watch basketball all day when Knicks are doing that. When they play like they did versus Boston the other night, forget it. I'm done.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I want to shout out Double A real quick with the $1.99 super chat. Double A, I appreciate you. He asked you, Celso, and I think this is the perfect way to key up and transition to the next combo. Porto, did Ragu earn the start or his starting position in the starting rotation? So let's go up. Let's bring this graphic. Donte Divincenzo, he had a career night, 25.7 threes, has the red hair assassin won the job in the starting rotation.
White Donte.
So I'll start with you, then throw it over to Al.
Double A, man, I appreciate the super chat, bro. He was there when I was on Still Knicks Fans on Saturday. Shout out to Ron and John, Still Knicks fans. By the way, before I even give that take, I saw Ron said, hey, man, as soon as Al said the Mets are getting Yamamoto, he became an instant favorite. Shout out to your special guest, man.
Thank you.
Easy. Double A there, man, when I was talking about it, right? And because I made the statement even before that game of Divincenzo, to me, brings a little bit of that different energy in that starting unit. Had nothing to do with me hating on Grimes. I've been saying it for the last 4 games where, hey, everybody talks about the chemistry is better with him and Hart. Well, the chemistry is just as good with him and Brunson. I just feel like Donte has shown us before he even gave us this career high in points that he's giving us a little bit more on both sides of the ball than Grimes was right now. Nothing against Grimes. Grimes is amazing at defense. We know that. But I feel like he's still lacking that confidence when the ball is given to him. Last year, we made a lot of excuses of, well, he's only getting the ball because we were so used to the ISO and him getting that ball with only 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Now he's in his head at times, right? We know when that shot goes up and he's in that form, it's beautiful. But yeah, I'm still on the side of everybody's so, oh, here's your starting unit. I want to see what the best options possible, and I feel with Divincenzo right now, he's giving us that. Does that mean he has to be our starter forever? No, but you go with the freaking hot hand, and he is showing time and time again that chemistry is there, and that ball movement, I feel in big part, we're seeing it better when Divincenzo is in that starting unit.
100%. Al, what's your thoughts? And then throw it over to Phil.
See, I don't understand why people are so caught up on who starts. It's who finishes.
Right. Thank you.
Anthony Mason is the perfect example, as Knicks fans noticed. The man didn't start. Never started, but come the fourth quarter, he was finishing games, guarding the best big on the other team. So it's not who starts. Everybody gets caught up in that. These guys are getting their papers, whatever. You're getting your money, whether you're coming off the bench or you started. It's who finishes. And Divincenzo, listen, I saw Grimes working out with JJ Redick this summer. I haven't seen any improvement. I thought he's rushing his shot like he did last year. The year before, he didn't rush his shot. Last year, he rushed his shot. This year, he's doing the same shit again. He's rushing his shot. When he takes his time, and I watched him in college. I loved him in college. When he takes his time, he is an assassin behind the three-point line, but he is rushing. So Divincenzo in the starting lineup, that's the problem with Tibbs. He doesn't play the hot hand. If you notice, that's what kills me with his rotations. Yeah. When something's going well in the first half, The second half comes, he totally forgets about it until the game is out of hand. Ride the hot hand. White Donte, what up, baby? Ride it. He's one of the best rebounding guards in the league, can space the floor. The lane is not clogged when he's in the game, so that gives Brunson and Randle more opportunities to move around and work offensively. He spreads the floor. Donte, they're the same player pretty much, him and Grimes. I think Grimes would benefit off the bench because late in the game, he'll have more energy guarding the best player on the other team come the fourth quarter, as opposed to starting and playing those 25 minutes, whatever he's getting, and then come the fourth quarter, he's a little gassed.
Yeah, no, 100%. And Phil, 1 second before you go, we got 28 people in the building. If you guys can, smack that like button for your boys as we continue the conversation. And on the bottom of the screen, you see the heart that's right there. Just spam it for the next 30 seconds. Spam that heart because it helps us out with the algorithm. Just spam it.
Click it.
Yeah, and if you're on Twitter, a quick little retweet, let's continue to build this community. Let's continue to build, people in the chat because we love hearing what you guys are talking about and love bringing those points up. So retweet if you guys can. But when it comes to Donte and that whole question, shout out to my guy Knicks Recap because we've been talking about it for a while. Like that something needs to change, at least give something different a shot in the starting lineup. Like maybe it was Quick. And so we had talked about like how Quick could fit. But this is 2 games back-to-back that we've seen Donte have an actual impact from the start of a game. And I think there's a few different factors that, I want to bring up. First, a lot of what you see from Donte and the way that he moves around without the ball, the way that he actually finds ways to create for himself, that's a confidence thing that Grimes does not have yet. And so I don't think that's necessarily play calling where Tibbs is like, all right, and then Donte, you're going to move around nonstop until someone gets you the ball. That's just something that Donte does. That's playoff experience. That's championship experience that Donte has.
He got it from Golden State. That's key where he came from. Exactly. When they do a lot of that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that is a big deal where he came from, Golden State.
And it was like imprinted in Golden State, but he even did that when he was with the Bucks, like he moved a lot with the Bucks previously. He's that kind of guy that he's going to make sure that if you're not getting him the ball right here, maybe that's because he has to be over there. Like he's going to figure out how to be part of that offense. Grimes is not there yet. That confidence is not there. You still see Grimes a lot chilling on the 3-point line. And this isn't hate to Grimes because he's one of my favorite players. I feel like with the right coaching, he does have a high ceiling, but he's not there yet. And I think that what you also see is there is a lot more confidence and respect towards Donte from all the other players. Like if you look at Julius Randle in that last game, Julius Randle was nonstop looking for Donte as a first option. Before he dribbled the ball, before he even gave it back to Brunson, he was looking for Donte. Josh Hart was looking for Donte. Jalen Brunson was looking for Donte. They don't have that respect for Grimes yet, so they're going to find ways to get Donte involved because of Dante's dog-like mentality where he's trying to figure out how can I best help our, team. And he's been great. The good thing I love about Donte is not just that he has the confidence, but he's got the efficiency. He was 55% or something like that in that first game that he started.
Wait, can you say that part again? Because my sister kills Donte Divincenzo. Shout out to my sister. Can you say that last part again?
Yeah, his efficiency is, beautiful. 55 or so for that first game versus Washington, and then 75% versus the Charlotte Hornets. And
you hear that, Melissa? You hear that, right? Okay.
75%. 7 for 10 from the 3-point line. Like, we talk about all the time what we are missing in our starting lineup is someone that can catch and shoot the 3 immediately. That's Donte Divincenzo. Like, he's proven that. So am I going to say after 2 games, okay, he's earned the spot? No. But if he does it again, especially against a team like tonight, you can't not give him that opportunity. Like, you can't.
And don't look past the fact. Sorry. Don't look past the fact that him and Brunson go back a long way. They have chemistry. That is huge. That's why I didn't want to see Obi go, but I knew that Divincenzo, not height-wise, but player-wise, was an upgrade for this particular team. Now, the Knicks, do they lack depth at the power forward position? Absolutely. But this is not the same NBA from the 90s where it's position by position by position. That shit don't matter anymore. It's the chemistry of the team. And it's obvious that Divincenzo with Brunson is way more chemistry than Obi with anybody was on this team. Except Quentin for the alley-oops.
And yeah, that friendship is one thing that I do miss in the post game and the pre-game. I miss seeing the interactions with Emmanuel quickly and Obi Toppin.
For sure.
I want to bring up Jalen Brunson, right? Because the key thing that you said, Al, was passing, assists. Jalen Brunson had 7 assists. You guys know 4 of those assists were to Donte Divincenzo?
No.
4 of them? Julius Randle had 8 assists. 3 of his assists came to passing it from Donte Divincenzo.
That's 15 assists from the 2 of the most dominant ball players in the league. 15. That's exactly my point. That's half of the assists from the game the other night. That's half.
So when you have a guy in the starting lineup, to Al's point, to Phil's point, that can spread the floor, that teams don't have to sag off from, because when it comes to Quentin Grimes, he can get you in the air with that pump fake, but he ain't doing nothing afterwards besides passing the ball. So
I'm making him hit shots before I'm getting up on him. Because if you notice with Grimes, they're not really pressed when he's back there at the 3. They don't close out strong. They stag under for the rebound. Unless he's hitting his shot, I know he's good defensively, but it's really playing 3-on-5 with Robinson and Grimes offensively on the floor. 3-on-5.
Yeah, no, and when Donte is hitting his shot, Donte is he's a sneaky creator when it comes to passing and finding the open guy. So even if Donte is not going to take the shot, he is going to make the right pass to the right person at that right time.
Yeah,
100%.
And
I don't know.
Sorry for that. Keith was saying, I've been begging for Donte to start all year. I understand that. But we also have preached so many times as a fan base that Tibbs says he's a, earn your position type of player, type of coach. We can't say that Donte should have just gotten the keys when he got here and then also preach that, we are a team that's about earning your position. If you look at Grimes got that position when Fournier got hurt last season and Grimes started starting. And then Tibbs was like, okay, he fits better into this kind of unit.
One plays defense, the other one's a fucking traffic cone.
Yeah, exactly. So proof-wise,
sorry, Donte, Jerry. Jerry's a big fan of Evan Fournier. We joke around with it a lot.
Wait. Are they related in some way?
Yeah. I don't know. I think Fournier got some feet pics of Jerry somewhere on the internet that he's hiding.
Oh, Jerry with them OnlyFans feet pics was good.
Look, I don't know what I missed. I just got back, but I walked in the pig feet. All right.
But also too, Celso, Jerry's watch along will be this Wednesday, right? Over on Playback. Is it this Wednesday or this Friday coming up?
I think Friday. I'll make sure.
All right, double check with that. Yeah, if you guys aren't tuned in, make sure the link is in the description to Jerry's Playback. Come join us in on the conversation because it was a dope playback last Friday.
Are we still on Donte? I know I stepped away for a second.
Yeah, we're still on Donte. Go ahead,
taking care of grandma today, so I want to make sure she was all right. But
shout out to grandma.
Right? I'm telling you, she was yelling my name. I was like, what is going on? She's like, I thought you were outside. I was like, I'm in the room next to you. What are you talking about? But to go back to Donte, since we're still on that topic, right? We can all speculate. Everybody can go back and forth on I've been calling for it, right? Phil, I got shitted on when I was like, I'd love to see Donte starting, right? The other things I want to talk about is how about the highlights, the putback, right? That he brought when he slammed that back in, right? How about the block the other night? How about the 3 steals, right? Everybody's looking at the 25 points, the 7 threes, but man, he's given us so much more on both ends of the ball, right? And again, what frustrates me with Grimes, and not in a bad way, is when he starts getting hot in those couple minutes, we all have that moment like, all right, here we go. He hits those 2 threes, and you're like, oh, there it goes. And then he goes ghost. And
or Tibbs takes him out.
Exactly. Well, we all know how that goes. But let's be real. When it comes to Donte, the one thing in the offseason, whether people were complaining about the signing and the side of it that loved it because of the Villanova boys, one thing everybody agreed on, he was a guy that Tibbs would play. Right? Yeah. That's what we 100%. Ask for with any pick we have, any player. It's, can we get somebody that he will actually play? If he keeps playing the way he does, he is going to earn that spot. Right? Granted, we're seeing it because Grimes got injured. That's unfortunate. But I think if he continues to do this, I don't see how you take him out of that starting.
Wait, what's Grimes' contract? I'm sorry. I should have looked that up.
I'll pull it up right now.
Okay. Because if Donte does become the starter permanently, that's a piece they can add to a trade deadline acquisition, which I think come the deadline, that's when the Knicks make their move. Don't panic now. Let these other teams implode. And then at the deadline, they'll be more desperate to get rid of guys that are, to get something for nothing, rather get something than nothing. And that's when the Knicks should make their move.
Right now, Quentin Grimes makes $2.3 million this season. There's a club option next year for $4.2 million, and he's a restricted free agent in the summer of 2025.
But
so
Al,
he's under a team-friendly contract for the next 4 years.
Al, I hear you on that, but don't you think, honestly, if we did move that kid to the second unit, that we'll probably see the Grimes that we're begging for? Like, he's going to have more of that leeway, right?
There'll be less pressure on him because I feel like he's pressing with the starting lineup. It's so obvious. It's been over about a year of this crap. And I'm at the games. I know you guys go to the games and watch the games as well, obviously. My man, it looks like, when you first play basketball and you get the ball and you're excited to shoot and you shoot, that's the way Grimes looks out there. As soon as he passes on the ball, he's just chucking it up. Like, he's just chucking it up. His feet are not set. His body looks all deformed. Bro, relax. You have a great jump shot. Take your time, brother. Take your time. That's all I ask.
And just so everybody know, the animation that Al did going like that, that's how I look when I'm shooting from the three-point line. I just want to throw it out there. It's my shooting form.
Is that why Anthony MSG doesn't invite you for the shoot?
That's why Anthony saw me shot once and he blocked me on Instagram. I gotta find
it. No, I played high school basketball, so no, I was all about passing and dribbling. Me, it was all about passing and dribbling.
So to your point, the one thing I will say is a little bit different that I talked about a little earlier is when they look for Donte as opposed to when they look for Grimes. Grimes is typically the result that gets the ball once they try to drive and then they don't have something, then they dish it out to an open Grimes, or within the last 4 seconds of a shot clock, before the shot clock violation. Seldom do you ever see him get the ball with a ton of time on the ball.
That is true. That is true.
Like you do with Donte. Donte gets the ball. He can either shoot it, pass it, whatever. Grimes has very little time to make those decisions because it's not an offense that fully respects him at this point.
And Divincenzo has better handles than Grimes.
Exactly. Yeah, so if you put him in the second unit where it's pretty much him and Quick would be your guys that can score, because as much as I like Josh Hart is like a fourth option when it comes to scoring. Like, he's open, give it to him. Okay.
Can he stop shooting threes as well? Can we calm down Josh Hart from 3-point land, please?
Yo, Al, I said the other day, if he's not on the right side in between the corner there, I don't want him shooting a three. When he's in that spot, it's money. I will put money when he's shooting from there every time. Any other spot on
you said the right side, his right, correct?
Yeah,
right
exactly.
Side.
When he's over there in that right, nice. Anywhere else in that perimeter, I will bet anybody every time. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Yeah. I will make money on
when they're giving you 15 feet, bro, that means don't shoot it. Just saying. I'm just saying.
It's true.
100%. Like I said, I brought it up earlier. The Knicks are 6-1 over the last 7 games. We are over 500 right now. I think we are 6th place in the East as of right now. Josh Hart has 5 different releases. He definitely does. When it comes,
what does Josh Hart have? 5 different what?
Releases when shots. He shoots 19 comments. You never know which one you're getting.
When it comes to the standings in the East, ultimately, Al, where do you think this team is going to finish? You brought up the trade deadline. How realistic do you think this team is when it comes to taking that next step? We went to the second round last year against the Heat. I think we take that elevation, forcing 7 games in the second round, getting to the Eastern Conference Final. What are you thinking, brother?
I'm gonna stick to what I said when I walked into WFAN and I met the big bosses. Everybody knows Spike's a Philly fan, so
Spike. I just had surgery as well. I'm wishing Spike a speedy recovery when it comes.
Yeah, he had hip surgery. I said, I hope the meds are working. I texted him, hope the meds are working. I told him 3 seed, top 3 in the East. He said, what? I said, yeah, but that was before I wanted Philly to keep Harden as long as possible and let that shit implode. I was not going to help them by trading them whatever they wanted for Harden. I know those rumors were over the summer, Harden to the Knicks. Yeah. They remember those. I'm like, no, thanks. I said 3 seed in the East, top 3. Now looking at it, maybe Philly knew what they were doing this whole time. Maybe they knew get rid of Harden. This team would unlock. Maxey for sure has been unlocked. He's been phenomenal. And the other guys that Tobias Harris is now the third option, and he's interested as opposed to the fourth option and disinterested. So right now, I see the Knicks 4 or 5 seed there with Cleveland again. I could possibly see another rematch with the Cavs again. But I do think, honestly speaking, if it's not the Bucks as the 1 seed, because the Knicks have matchup problems with the Bucks, Giannis always kills them. He gets everyone in foul trouble. If it's not the Bucks, that's why when the Heat knocked the Bucks out last year, I thought the Knicks were going to conference finals. I said Knicks conference finals. It didn't happen. This year, if the Bucks are not the 1 seed, I'm sticking by it. The Knicks will get to the conference finals.
That's what I'm talking
it's
about.
hard. It's hard to argue that,
and that's not my fandom talking, because the trade deadline is still there. And I said at the deadline, that's when the Knicks will be able to unload Fournier and unload some picks and maybe throw in, I hate to say it, if you're not going to sign quickly, you're going to have to give him up and go get that player. And they're going to have to take a bad contract back, obviously, from a team with a superstar. If that star is worth it, take the bad contract back.
Key word is worth it, and who's going to be available. Because if it's Karl Anthony Towns, I'm hanging up the phone. Nope, no. I do not want that man in New York. It just depends on who's out of it at that moment. Miami is struggling. Will they make Jimmy Butler available?
No, they're not trading with the Knicks.
So it's I'm just saying hypothetically, just throwing some things out there. It all depends who's available and for what the right cost is. And honestly, when you look at the starting lineup, we don't need, if Donte works out on the starting lineup, we may not need someone to be in the starting lineup. We may need to have someone replace Donte coming off. Do
you have a guy? Because I'm looking at the standings right now. Do you? I mean, the season just started, but do you have a guy in mind that you're like, maybe this guy can help the team? Because there's
rumors real quick. Bojan, I can't fucking pronounce that Eastern European.
Bojan, just say Bojan.
Bojan may be available, and that.
Which one is that one? Because there's like 5 of them in the league. Which one's that one?
They all look the same.
Wait, is it Utah? Is it Utah's Bogdan? Is it Sacramento's Bogdan? Is it Lance's Bogdan? Which one is it?
Yeah, he's on the Pistons right now. He's on the Pistons.
It's one of the Gizmo guys. It's one of them over there.
Oh, the one who used to play for Utah. He's on the Pistons now.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean you guys aren't excited to go get Jordan Poole?
Oh, fuck no, bro. I'd rather go fucking. I'd rather jump in the pool. I'd rather jump in the pool butt naked than go get fucking Jordan Poole.
I had a hard time just getting that out as a joke. It hurt.
Fuck no, Jordan Poole, man. That guy got his bag and forgot how to play basketball.
For real. You know, they're throwing it off the backboard down by 20 points in Washington. They're
a mess. They're a mess.
Into what the Knicks was in the early 2000s when we had Marbury, Isaiah Thomas. That's what the Washington Wizards had.
Nate Robinson scoring 90.
I want to just touch on the James Harden thing real quick. Let's go around the table, because when it comes to James Harden with the Clippers, you seen Russell Westbrook come out saying that he's willing to come off of the bench.
I thought he's a bad teammate.
Exactly, Alan. When you put that up on Instagram, I immediately liked it and I reposted it. But when it comes to Russell Westbrook, he is putting himself. Both of them are going to be free agent after this season, right? He's putting himself ahead as, listen, who's going to be the better option in free agency? Russell Westbrook, who is willing to come off of the bench, or James Harden, who still thinks this is 5 years ago?
Look at the money.
MVP candidate.
Look at the money. Russ is getting how much money compared to James Harden? Come on. And I give Russ credit. He reinvented himself. Something Carmelo Anthony didn't do. Carmelo, remember, went to OKC. He's like, me off the bench, something like that. He said right away. I knew that shit ain't gonna work. You have to be open to you. You have to be a team player. And Russ is taking criticism for years. And I give him all the credit in the world for saying, you know what? Let me be the bigger person and say, you know what? I'll come off the bench. Plus, he gets to touch the ball more. Hello, that's what he wants. So that's great for the Clippers that they did that. And it's great for Russ's image down the line, especially in free agency coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it was one of those ones that knocked out multiple birds with that one stone, you know, because it's it's the best move for that team. You got too many big heads in that starting, and then it's not cohesive to work that way. It helps his image of saying, oh, all you clowns that's in there, I don't care about the team. I only care to be a starter. Yeah, shut your mouth. I'm going to come off. But you said it, Al. He's going to get more touches with that ball in that second unit and be able to be Russ.
He ain't stupid.
Exactly. He doesn't get to be Russ and go after that money in that starting unit with all those big heads.
Now, you tell me if you want to stand around in the corner while some schmuck, some left-handed schmuck with a beard that should have been shaved 5 years ago does all this for 20 seconds, bro, and you standing there like this. Come on. Give me the second unit as well.
Here's the thing. I give Russ credit, but I also believe that like you learn from what you've seen previously. Like I think that the Carmelo thing kind of opened some eyes to like, okay, you're towards the end of your career and you're no longer the hottest commodity on the court. If you have ego, you have pride, your longevity in the league is not going to be there. So if you think about it, Carmelo ended up being okay with that, second, unit spot once he got another opportunity.
It was too late, though.
It was.
It was too late.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think Russell Westbrook is learning from history. Like, okay, around the time that Carmelo had to take that back seat, he didn't want to. It ended up biting him in the butt. Russell Westbrook now has an opportunity to take that and learn from that and say, okay, I can see the signs. I could see where this is at, see where it led to Carmelo. I can come off the bench, thrive off the bench, and make teams see me as, oh, this is the sixth man you want on your team. This is the guy you want to bring in and have a longer career off the bench because he's humble enough to do that. I think history can teach lessons, and I think he learned from that experience.
And the thing I'll say is this is Carmelo should have used his head and be like, you know what? I'm not better than a lot of these ones, right? But coming off the bench, I'm a lot better than these guys coming off the bench. Yeah. I can still get my numbers and I can still help my team win. Example, look at Russell Westbrook. His numbers are still there. Yep. Still there. When he came off the bench for the Lakers, when he was playing for the Clippers last year, everybody went down. He's better than a lot of these twos, and he's still going to be able to average 15 and 17, 6 and 6. Yep. Hey, that's better than Ben Simmons. Shout out Brooklyn Nets. Hello.
A little shade to the guys across that bridge over there in Brooklyn. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. No, Al, I want to get your thoughts real quick on this in-season tournament. I'm still trying to figure out the fucking rules and how it actually works. I still haven't been able to figure it out. But what's your thoughts with the courts and this money grab that the league's trying to do when it comes to this?
It's great for the guys at the end of the bench, like Dame Lillard said the other day. He was the first vet I heard say that. For me, it's nothing, but for my teammates, it's life-changing money. Like him, Giannis, they got money like that. Rub it in our faces. Thanks, Dame. But the guys at the end of the bench, I get him doing it for it. But as far as the tournament, I mean, what the fuck? Like, I hate to say it, but I see those courts. I do not want to watch a game where I feel like I'm going to fucking vomit watching the guys run up and down the court. And I'm getting dizzy and car sick watching these courts. The courts are horrible. Whoever's idea this was, it's horrible. As far as the tournament, I get it. Regular season interest. But let's face it, gambling's what keeps regular season interest. It's not the fucking courts. It's not the in-season tournament. Basketball's a gambling sport. You can gamble on every night. That's what it's all about. This tournament, kick rocks.
Well, and I said it on the show the other day, and I don't want to miscredit who said it, but I think it was Keith Turner who dropped a super chat on Ron's channel, was saying where they're seeing the benefit from it is with younger kids and people that don't really watch the games, right? For us, my take has always been, as a Knicks fan, we're watching every game anyways.
As long as they're good.
Right. Well, let's be real. Even when they're shitty, we still manage to find.
I'm not watching. I'll be honest.
I'm a glutton for punishment, bro.
No, when they stink, I'm not sitting there for an April 10th game versus the Charlotte Hornets. No, thank you. No, thank you.
It's one of those things where even if we go with when they're winning, we watch. There's those casuals that don't watch, right? So it's one of those benefits, but. What's even worse about the ugly courts, Al? How about the courts that don't match anything to do with the team? Like that Wizards game. Those colors, we talked about it, heck. We've never seen those colors on a Wizards uniform, on the Bullets uniform. It was literally like their intern was like, you know what? I really like these colors, guys. Let's go with this.
Wait, why do we have a black court, right? And the jerseys are dark colored. How am I supposed? What the fuck is going on? What is this, Atari when it's just a fucking head running up and down the court?
With the orange court and orange ball. I heard.
No, it's hard. That's horrendous. Come on, man. No, I understand you're trying to. I get it, but it's. I'm not with it. Not with it at all.
So here's my thoughts, because I didn't know what to think of the in-season tournament at first. One thing I will agree with, though, most of those courts give me freaking like, I feel like I'm having a seizure trying to watch some.
I'm with you.
They are really, really hard to watch these all pink, all purple, all red, and then you have matching red uniforms, and it just looks like little heads floating when you're watching the game. It's just
I told you, it looks like Mr. Potato Heads running up and down the court.
like that is horrible. It's like someone went crazy on NBA Jam and just threw up everything. But one thing I did like, and I didn't see it this way necessarily at first, and I believe it was Steph Curry. Steph Curry was talking about why the in-season tournament's important to like him and some veteran players that he knows. And he was talking about how winning these games matter to them because there are players that they believe in and younger players on their team or players that are on the bench that will not make as much money as these starters and all-stars. And them winning these games give them an opportunity to provide money for those players on the team that are still as valuable by being on the team. And I thought that was like stand up, you know, to be like, hey, that money as an all-star, as an MVP, whatever, really doesn't matter so much to us.
Wait, what's the top prize again? Sorry. What's the top prize again? Is it a mil? 500?
500K.
Wait, 500K.
I think it's 500, yeah.
Yeah,
it's 500.
It's 500K and a gift card to Ben and Jerry's. That's what it is.
I heard Eddie Curry just signed up for that card.
The Curry scoop. Curry Rocky Roads. But fellas, tonight there's a game, Knicks versus the Timberwolves, and ultimately, you know, the Timberwolves, they're surprising a lot of people. Anthony Edwards is taking that step forward as becoming the true leader and the number one option on that team. We know RJ Barrett, when it comes to matching up with Edwards, Edwards love to take that matchup personally against RJ Barrett. So I want to throw it over to you. What is your expectations for tonight, and what matchups are you looking for specifically?
The spread is 3 on tonight's game. Knicks are 3-point underdogs. I'm looking at the center position because if Mitchell Robinson can rebound tonight against Gobert and Cat, because you know Cat sometimes puts his ass in the paint, but he likes to sit outside the 3-point line. Mm-hmm. If Robinson can stay out of foul trouble, the Knicks win this game. The Knicks will win because that means he's boarding. He's playing defense and he's in the game. If he's not, Gobert's gonna have a field day with 16 rebounds, 18 rebounds, easy tonight, and the Knicks don't have a shot. So my key is Mitchell Robinson versus the bigs of the Timberwolves in terms of staying out of foul trouble and being in the game defensively and rebounding.
I love that because I was going to say, if Mitch holds it down, there's 2 things we get from tonight. A victory and the bullshit conversations of let's go get Cat will finally stop. I want to see them lock him up, stop it. Yes, you're looking to contain him. He's still going to do what he does. But if we're able to walk away with that, shut that narrative up, we're coming into another episode where it's like, hey, there's another name we can take off the list. Please
wait,
who's
guarding Cat, though? It's going to be Randle.
It's going to be Randle.
Yeah, so. In terms of the second, I think the only guy can get Mitch in foul trouble is Cat when it's second, you know, when Gobert goes to the bench and Cat plays the center position. Watch that matchup, like you said. If Mitch can stay out of foul trouble tonight, they win tonight. And they not only do they cover the spread, they win.
Yeah. Oh, I guess Phil got kicked off the internet for now. He'll be back. Oh,
I didn't do anything. There you go.
There you go. So I couldn't hear you for a second. You muted?
Yeah, I was coughing and I muted it so I wouldn't cough. All right.
Oh, okay. All right. Heard you. No, I agree with you. When it comes to the matchup tonight, Mitchell Robinson is going to be important. You know, hashtag the Mitch match when it comes to Mitchell Robinson, the ascension for Mitchell Robinson this season. Mitchell Robinson, he's putting his name in that conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. He is definitely going to be all defense. The way that he is not getting into foul trouble this year, he's averaging 2.6 fouls per game.
Knock on that wood, because
knock on wood, 2.6 fouls per game. The only game he was in foul trouble this year was opening night against the
yeah, I was there. Thanks.
The Garden. I was there also for that one too, Al. So I had that pain with you, brother. But no, Mitchell.
Wait,
Robinson,
time out. You see his double tonight. What it is? It's plus 550. He hasn't hit one yet this year. He hasn't. He's come close. He's cost me, but it's plus 550 double tonight. You know, I know Jerry did a triple double for Randle. That's not crazy. That's crazy than my Mitchell Robinson double double.
Listen, to be fair to Jerry, Julius Randle did come close. I think he had 7
a couple times.
Yeah. And then the next night
played
he was
it.
2 away.
No, I played it and I tweeted Jerry. I said, you know what, fuck it, I'll play this and see what happens. I played it.
No, but I also want to see, to Celso's point, and I throw it over to Phil. to shut up these conversations about Karl Anthony Towns. I want to see Julius Randle abuse Karl Anthony Towns tonight. Play that big body game in the paint. Karl Anthony Towns is not a solid defender. If you could get him off his game, Julius Randle, don't settle for the dribble, step back three. Take that man to the paint, get him off of his feet, and take advantage of that matchup you have against Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, and that's a huge point, because that's the one reason a lot of us have said we don't want Karl Anthony Towns. Like, regardless of the fact that he has had a stellar season so far. Like, we can't take anything away. Like, he is playing solid basketball right now. Like 21.7, 9 rebounds, almost 3 assists per game.
And they're winning.
He's playing really well. But defensively, he doesn't bring anything to the equation. So that's why people are saying, like, well, you swap him out for Randle, you're going offense again, but you're not really getting much defense. So here's the thing about Randle is, in the same way that they're going to try to get Mitch in trouble, like when it comes to the fouls, we need to be targeting getting Anthony Towns in foul trouble. And how to do that? He's not going to be fouling Julius Randle from the 3-point line. He'll be fouling Julius Randle because he's not a great defender. If Julius Randle has his back to the ball and plays Anthony Mason style basketball, Karl Anthony Towns won't be able to really do much except foul him to stop him. So that has to be something we focus on. The second thing we need to see, someone said it here, is the RJ Barrett, Anthony Edwards thing. Last game, RJ Barrett struggled offensively coming back, shooting 30.
Is he playing? Is he going to play back-to-back tonight?
That's what we got to see. I haven't seen that he's questionable or not. But if he does play, the main thing, his defense has been leaps and bounds this season.
Much
what
better.
It was last
Way
year.
better.
So
much better.
Defensively, I'm not worried. But we do need someone that can balance out the buckets that Anthony Edwards is going to get. Like, because there is going to be a lot of scoring from Anthony Edwards, if they do a lot of pick and rolls and stuff like that. So we do need RJ's contributions. But I think the big thing that we need to also think about when it comes to Mitchell Robinson is we have a different guy off the bench this year than we did last year. Like, Ihart was good last year, but he was kind of just buying time until Mitchell Robinson could come back in when he was in foul trouble. That's not the Ihart we see anymore. Ihart has been leaps and bounds offensively and defensively than what he was last year.
This is the Hartenstein from the Clippers the year before, because I don't mean to cut you off. I watched a lot of Clipper games because I bet on Hartenstein. And, so I was up watching the games, and it would kill me because I bet on Zubac double-double, and then Hartenstein's in the game. I'm like, what the fuck? But now I see why Lou liked him because, granted, his inbounding skills drive me nuts when Hartenstein inbounds the ball. But as far as hustle plays and offensively, he brings something that the center position backup has not had in this organization in a while.
So now, if Mitch was to get in foul trouble, it's not as necessary for him to stay out there because it's not a huge drop off this year to have Ihart come in and start, taking some of those minutes to make sure that Mitchell doesn't get into excessive foul trouble quickly. So I think that's a good insurance to have now, is that he can come in and he can still play with the Rudy Goberts and stuff like that to release some of that like requirements on Mitchell's shoulder.
To piggyback off of what you just said, Phil, when it comes to Isaiah Hartenstein, with Mitchell Robinson not getting into foul trouble, it allows Hartenstein, it allows Hartenstein to be more aggressive when he's out there because he doesn't have to worry about getting into foul trouble himself. Now that Mitchell Robinson is not getting taken out of the game early or Mitchell Robinson getting into foul trouble, it allows Hartenstein to be more aggressive in the paint. That's why you see him going more. You see a lot of more jump balls. He's diving for it. He's trying to rip it out of the opponent's hand because he's allowed to be more aggressive. And I think that's a big takeaway this year when it comes to his game coming off of the bench.
Yeah, 100%. I asked a question earlier. Sorry about that. You said we talked about who at the deadline do you see the Knicks getting? I didn't hear any. I didn't hear anything.
I said Bogdan.
Okay, you said him.
Yeah, I said next. Phil,
for me, I really think that I said this before. I feel like the Donte signing, wasn't just because he's Jalen Brunson's friend, like a lot of people think. Like, I think he brought a lot experience, winning mentality can create. But I also think that as much as I like and I actually love watching IQ play, but I feel like this signing was also an insurance policy. Like, if they decide that there is something available and it requires including IQ in a sign-in trade, that he will be moved at the trade deadline. Like, if they decide, hey, we got enough as an insurance policy with Donte, we're going to keep him. I don't think that you can hold that same weight when it comes to Grimes. Like, if you decide to move on from Grimes, you're not getting what you're going to get moving on from IQ. Like, IQ can start at a point guard position for a lot of other teams that need a starting point guard.
He's so much better off the bench.
He is.
He is
so
much
for
better.
us. He is for us. But
I think in general, period. I think if he goes somewhere and he's a starter, it's not going to be the same. He's going to be going against a lot of ones in the league, and he's not great defensively. And I can see that being a disaster. He's in the perfect space on the Knicks right now. It's perfect.
I don't think he sees it that way.
Of course, his pockets don't see it that way neither.
And so I honestly, like, me and Sky Zoo were talking about it. I could see him going to a team like the Spurs that have a deficiency in starting point guard that could use someone.
He's going to drive Pops nuts. He's going to drive Pops nuts.
But think about Lob City with him and Victor. That's Lob City, like that's crazy fast-paced movement. I could see it working. But I think IQ, as much as we like him, if we decide to move on from him, he's going to be that piece because we have the insurance policy in Donte Divincenzo that has shown that it is going to work here in New York. So I think if we do move on from him, we're going to be looking for somebody, to either be a small forward and move, RJ back to the 2, or someone that's going to be the backup power forward that we need. But I don't know if there's anybody. Me personally, I don't want the Joel Embiid. I know people think I'm crazy for that, but I think that what we're seeing in Philly right now, there's no need for Embiid to leave right now. The reforming without James Harden has proven to be, like he was.
They committed to him. They showed we're here for you. So
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
If you're Philly, right? If you're the owner of the Philadelphia 76ers, I'm not sending Joel Embiid 2 hours away on the turnpike or the freeway to New York City.
No, that's not happening.
My conference. No. If I'm going to trade Joel Embiid, I'm sending his ass to the West Coast where I don't have to worry about him or see him that much. I'm not sending him to New York City where he could flourish and have a bigger market to market and advertise and make the most money off him. I'm not doing that. If they are going to trade him, they need to trade him to the West Coast. But like you said, I don't think they're trading him right now because, like you said, Al, they have showed, listen, we're invested in you. When the rumors came out this offseason about Giannis wanted to be traded, unhappy in Milwaukee, what did Milwaukee do? They traded for Dame Lillard to try to get Giannis to shut the hell up. Now the same thing. We got rid of James Harden. We got rid of that headspace that was in the locker room. So, Joel, this is your team, and we're going to build everything around. They should have been doing that from day one, but now they finally done it.
They took a chance. It just didn't work out. That's it. And Philly, no matter how James Harden, whose fucking feelings are softer than fucking tissue. Fucking guy, how many situations he's gonna be in where he can win a championship and he comes up small and then blames everybody else? Come on, bro.
But you know what? It works every time for him. He throws a tantrum and he gets his wish every freaking time.
This offseason, it's not gonna happen. He's gonna be.
You would hope not.
1 year deal for the rest of his career.
Sorry, I just hit that one.
Let me pull that up. Double A, appreciate that 199 super chat. There we go. You know what? Double A, you are the sole reason our lights are staying on today. Tibbs needs to play Sims versus Nas, not Hart. Ooh, what are your thoughts on that one, guys? Would you even?
I agree. When it comes to Nasir Reed, if the matchup is Josh Hart, Reed is going to take advantage of him. Mm-hmm. Josh Hart is a phenomenal defender. He's a phenomenal rebounder. But he's undersized. It's like that AAU team that has to put the 5'4" kid on the 6'3" center just because they don't have no one tall enough to be on their roster. That's what it feels like when it comes to Josh Hart. But no, you definitely need size to go against Nas Reed coming off of the bench, and that's a matchup to watch for. Is Tibbs going to do it? I'm not sure. We're asking too much for a man that just decided to grow a beard over the past 60 years of his life, so I'm not too sure.
Hey, you know what? The good news is we've gone from the fire tips chance to shave your beard chance. I mean, that's a big improvement there, guys. All right.
I hope they're not really chatting that shit. Come on now, really?
Oh God, there's still some you see on that. I'm like, how can you still go with that take? It doesn't make sense.
It only gets worse. Leaving Met games this year for no reason. I would hear people start a fuck Trey Young chat. Made no sense, bro.
We just talked about
can
that.
We
Why
put
are we
that to bed? Put that to bed.
Enough of that, bro. It's April. It's April or May. It was May or June, excuse me. Going up the stairs to the 7 train. It never fails. 6 games in a row, I swear to you. I tell my boy, watch this. And then you hear, fuck Trey Young. He's like, bro, what the fuck? Knicks are not playing the Hawks. I'm like, these are stupid ass Met fans.
Bro,
dumbasses. And I'm a Met fan.
When I was filming last year after we won the Cleveland game, and people
wait, it happens at Yankee Stadium too?
Yeah, it happened at Yankee Stadium too. I don't know why it just started. We was at the game. The 3 of us was at the game.
Yeah, that's what Phil was about to say, right? Phil, when we were recording.
And then all of a sudden you just heard people screaming out F Trey Young. Sorry.
Why?
Oh, Phil was about to give a take and then he froze.
Oh, that's
wait, am I frozen?
Oh, he's coming back. You're good now. You're good now.
Yeah, you're moving like you're watching one of them tournament basketball games.
What I was saying is, like, even when we won Cleveland, we're on a high that we beat Cleveland, and I'm filming all the fans enjoying the Cleveland victory, and then all of a sudden someone screams the Trey Young chant in the middle of that, and everyone starts doing that. I'm like, we're not even in contention with the Hawks right now. Those guys are home. Like, what are we?
That happened at the Garden after Game 5 versus the Heat as well. I just didn't understand it.
Doesn't make sense.
Weird. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Guys, before I know we want to be respectful of your time, Al, you still got a couple minutes? Or
I'm good, bro. Let's go. I'm good.
Before we wrap up, I saw somebody earlier in the chat asked, how are we feeling about Julius Randle and what we're seeing? And do we think we can continue to see this version of Julius Randle for the longevity of this season? I'll throw you first, Al.
Okay, so I kind of caught the end of the conversation earlier about Randle. I always said, if you're going to trade Julius Randle, you better be able to replace 20, 10, and 5. You better be able to replace that. I don't care how you feel. I know he's a pain in the ass to watch at times, but in the regular season, Juju is solid. 20, 10, and 5. Now, the playoffs, whole nother story. He was injured last year, fine. The year before, the time they made their plays before that, the Hawks were quadruple teaming him because nobody can make a fucking jump shot versus Atlanta. That's why I didn't understand people picking the Knicks to beat the Hawks. I said that was crazy because the Hawks had all them jump shooters and there was no Mitch. Remember, no Robinson either. He was out. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big deal. So, but Randle in a regular season, you better be able to replace 20 plus, 10, and 5. So I'm happy with Randle on the team as the third option. He's not, second option. He's not a first option, which is good. He's essentially a third option. If the Knicks can find that other guy, a second option. We don't even do superstar. Second option and Randle the third option, the organization would be in so much better shape.
Mm-hmm.
Hector, before you give your take, I love our chat. Shin Sunday said, my bad. I'll stop those chants, I guess. And then Julian Blum follows up with, not for nothing though, F-Trade.
Julian, I love you, bro.
$1.99 super chat. Yo, double A.
Fuck Trey Young's hairline.
Yeah. That's what his hairline says.
Ball at 23.
Yeah, it happened to me when I was 32. You know, as somebody who's a part of the phallically challenged community, I'm not someone.
I can grow mine. I choose not to.
Yeah. Just to let everybody know, we are sitting at 1,696 subs on the channel. We are 4 away from 1,700. 304 away from 2,000. So if you're just casually watching this and you aren't subscribed, what are you doing with your life? I know your mother dropped you on the head when you was younger.
We set a 2K goal for the end of the year.
Helps us get to 2K. Absolutely.
There you
go. No, but for me, when it comes to Julius Randle, like I said at the beginning of the season, it looked like he wasn't 100% coming back from that injury that Al pointed out. He didn't look
interested. He didn't look interesting.
No. He didn't have the same explosion that he had last year, right? So we've seen recently over the past few games, Julius Randle is starting to get back into form. He's starting to get back into shape, and the proof is in the pudding, especially with the points, especially that game against Charlotte. He had 8 assists, 10 plus rebounds. So Julius Randle is seeming to find himself. RJ Barrett this last game, like Phil pointed out, he was 1 for 5 from beyond the arc, but still 15 points. The only game that this season that RJ has played that he didn't score over 20 points. So Credit to RJ Barrett for a solid start to the season. Let's see what happens tonight against his matchup against Anthony Edwards. But when it comes to Julius Randle, like I said, be that bully on the block and take Karl Anthony Towns' lunch money. That's all you got to do. Take his lunch money. Point blank.
If he's settling for the 3 early in the game, like 2 or 3 threes in the first 6 minutes, it's gonna be a long night watching the game. I'm telling you right now. Unless he's hitting those. If he misses the first, if he's hitting them, hey, I took him for 3 threes tonight plus 150. Hello. If he's chucking up threes early, that means he's either back to back. He's not feeling it. He's going to have a lazy offensive game. It's going to be a long night. Let's hope he's not lazy tonight.
Yeah.
No,
and I think it comes down to coaching at the end of the day. Like if Julius Randle is going to be that third option that like he could thrive in, and I think if RJ Barrett continues a season where he's shooting what he's shooting and he's getting 25 plus points a game, that does release Randle from having to always, feel like he has to be chucking up shots. And you add someone like a Donte Divincenzo who can add points to that starting lineup. I don't necessarily think we need to move on from Julius Randle. My whole thing with Julius Randle has always been the effort, and that to me comes down to coaching. Like for me, if I see someone on my team running a business and they are slacking, it is my job as the owner of that company, the one who's in charge of those guys, to pull them aside and be like, hey, as much as I like what you bring to the team, that's not okay. That can be replaced. The 25 and 10 can be replaced if it's going to come with this. I think that the coach needs to be able to say, hey, that doesn't work. It shouldn't be on the player to pick and choose when they're going to show the effort because there's no consequence when the effort's not there.
But at the same time, we've seen it for how many years? Do we really expect, that? I mean, I agree with you 100%, but do we really expect it to happen where it's like, hey, you're lacking effort?
But
we as a fan base call it all the time.
See ball movement. I never expected to see
right. That's what I'm saying.
No, I just don't want him throwing his damn hands up when he gets upset. I hate when he does that. Bro, do not do that. Especially when you're not getting back on defense.
Yep.
Don't do it. Because you look even worse when you throw your hands up, then you ain't going back on defense. Come on.
Yeah. So don't quit on the team. Show effort through and through. And then Julius Randle, you add full-on effort every single game. I'm okay if it's not 27 and 10 every game. Like, I don't really care. That effort through and through, when he shows effort, it changes games. Jigga said it last year. When there's a smile on Julius Randle's face, that means we're probably going to win that game. Like when Julius Randle's actually having fun with his team, that probably means we're going to lose.
I'm watching the smile pregame now. I'm watching him pregame now. See if he's smiling. I tell you that you just brought that to my attention. I'm watching
your bet strategy tonight. I promise.
If he's not smiling, I'm taking my money back before the game starts. Straight up.
All right. So there's one thing before you go that I wanted to talk about. And Jigga told me to share it on my screen. But one thing that we saw in that Charlotte game was everybody in the fans were going off. Let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks at the actual game. And that was frustrating for people in Charlotte. But it was also frustrating the night before for the Wizards because that same thing happened in DC. So I want to play this interview real quick. Here we go. All right,
I have a hard time pronouncing his last name.
Yeah, I think everybody in the world does.
Okay, thank you.
Here we go. Here we go.
It just gets me angry sometimes, honestly. Like playing in your city and like having the whole stadium cheering "Let's go Knicks" and those people buying tickets, just one single ticket to cheer the Knicks. It's not something that you'll see in Europe, especially when I played. So a lot of those fans that are cheering and like "Let's go Knicks," like sometimes I'll stare them down. I'll be angry, but I'll keep it inside. It's just like something cultural that gets me a little like this stadium needs to chant like "Let's go DC." That's how it needs to be, and I'm wishing there, and I think everybody will, and I think one day it will be. So I'm positive. It's just
so. One thing I realized is we are affecting.
That's all I saw when he was talking. This is all I saw when he was talking, honestly.
We are affecting players in their own arenas. Like, you can tell the frustration that he had. So imagine being on the court, the frustration that he had while it was actually happening. So I think it's so important, the fact that we have New Yorkers everywhere, for when a game is actually in your city, go to the freaking game. Like, get under their skin. Like, if that's happening to players, we need to capitalize on that. And that's actually a strength that we have, is that New Yorkers are spread throughout the country.
I have a question for him. I think it's Denny's his first name.
Yeah.
Does he know the history of the Wizards?
Probably not.
Has he brushed up? Does he know they've sucked for about 50 years? Does he realize this? Does he realize that the Knicks fans, regardless whether we suck or not, I should know firsthand going to several road games, we travel well. It doesn't matter if we're 50 and 32 or 32 and 50, because when the Knicks go to your town, you're a New Yorker and you happen to live in that town or you visit that town, we're going to the game. That we support the team, because we don't see them, that we might not see them that much, you know, in Houston, Dallas, or we're going to show up and show out. Yeah. But I got Denny, bro, the Wizards have been trash for 50 years. Get out of there.
Yeah. Denny, you should be happy that the stadium had more people in there because of the Knicks, bro. Because if we weren't chanting, you don't have that many people there. But look,
and he's a good young player. He's a good young player.
Yeah, he's a very good, solid young player.
He's a good young player. And a lot of these young players go to these shit teams, and their talents get poisoned, and then you never know what they could be if they went to a great organization that develops players. But it's the Wizards. They suck.
Yeah.
Rumor has I live here in Charlotte, heck, right? And I know for a fact, I can sit here. I mean, it's mostly transplants from New York and New Jersey. So yes, when the Knicks are here, whether the Charlotte Hornets are good or bad, you're getting packed with the Knicks fans. It's just,
and the ticket is $9 because I've checked, because I wanted to do a book drive to Charlotte. It's $9.
Let me tell you this, Al, because the Knicks are doing well. 2 weeks ago, when I looked for the ticket, it was in that $20 range. The week leading up to it, after we went our little run, the nosebleed was $60. The Charlotte Hornets are like, let's capitalize on this. They know they get their ticket sales from the Knicks fan base. They literally jumped them up for the nosebleed, $60.
Yeah, but what was the secondary market? There was no second. Did you check the second?
Yeah, 31.
Okay.
StubHub, the lowest StubHub got was 31. Trust me, I kept looking. I was like, I'm going.
TickPick has no fees. StubHub has the fees. That's the only reason I asked you which one. I use TickPick for everything.
TickPick. All right. Rumor has it all that the Danny Avdija at the beginning of the season, he got upset when people were chanting "Let's go Bullets," but then somebody from the team had to tell him that the team used to be called the Bullets, and then he didn't know that. He had to realize that, you know. But
are you making that up? Is that real?
Yeah.
That sounds like some fucking wizardry right there, bro. That definitely sounds like some wizardry.
I'll be innocent. No, but I was joking around with some people on Twitter talking about the Tom Thibodeau and Julius Randle thing, and if Tom Thibodeau is going to start screaming at Randle, and I can't take credit for this, but my guy HK, State of the New York Knicks, he put out there that I heard in practice when Tom Thibodeau screams at people, he has muscle memory, so he still screams out Obi. And that's when people know that they messed up.
We're all gonna get there one day. You better believe we're all gonna get there one day.
Sorry, Obi, I just had to. I apologize. I'm sorry, Phil. Phil, I know. I'm sorry. I apologize. But Al, we want to respect your time.
No, I'm good. I mean, I'm good. If you want me to go, I'll go. If you want me to stay for 5 more minutes, I'm good.
Oh yeah, let's rock for 5 more, and then we can. Yeah, let's do that for sure.
All right, go ahead. So I'll throw it over to you.
One thing I'll say is, I see a lot of people talking about like, hey, we won in this deal. We got Donte instead of Obi. My whole thing is that wasn't a trade. It was a free agency signing. They have nothing to do with each other. Do not act like that was a give and take. Like we could have had both if we really wanted them. That's all I'm saying.
No, well, they had to trade Obi to open up the cap space to get Divincenzo. That's the only reason that trade was made. 2 second-round picks. It was a salary dump.
Yeah,
we still got 48 on the bench, so we could have figured something out.
Whatever you need to tell yourself at night, Phil, to sleep better. I was in
Indiana. I flew into the Indiana airport, and I was like, "Yo, Obi Toppin couldn't get 18 minutes on the Knicks, but when you go down to baggage claim, and you're going down, on the actual floor, printed on the floor, there's a giant Obi Toppin and Halliburton and like two or three other players on the actual floor of the airport baggage claim. So for people that don't think that Indiana cares,
No, basketball in Indiana is number one. That's Indiana. Oh, forget it. Basketball's 1, 2, and 3 there.
Signing out there, they absolutely love that signing.
Hold on, my guy Jonathan. Yoshinobu Yamamoto has been posted, and Major League clubs have been notified. Window begins at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. The signing club must submit terms no later than 5 p.m. Eastern time on January 4th. I don't know what you mean by January 4th, Jonathan.
Don't worry about it because he's going to be a Met.
Don't worry, Al. We could go live and we could have that conversation.
Yeah, we got a hot stove time. We definitely.
Wait. All three of you guys are Yankee fans?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is
back to the Knicks.
I just want to tell you something. My mom is a diehard Met fan, right?
Okay.
So growing up, this is what my mom did. Since single mother, I was living with my mom. She decided she forced me to be a Yankee fan because she wanted to have that in-house rivalry. She's like, no, the Mets are my team. Go root for the Yankees, and we could go back and forth. So I got to credit my mom's for that because she's a diehard Met fan from Brooklyn. She was there at this when they won the World Series.
What year was this?
86. This was 2002 when we lived in Far Rockaway, Queens.
So you thank her every day, huh?
Yeah, I thank her every day. Yes, I definitely do.
I won't lie. I went to the doubleheader to end the season with his mom, and man, she is a fan. And boy, was she, every time the home runs were hit and Verdugo did his thing, she was going nuts. Yeah, your mom's great.
Yeah, this was out. When we was there, she literally stopped talking to us and was just focusing on the game. Yeah. She's like, I'm not talking to you. I'm watching the game against the Phillies.
Good.
But shout out to my moms for that.
Shout out, Mom Dukes.
All right,
so
pull it up right here.
Ahead, pull it up.
I wanted to throw this comment in from Chin Sunday. Double A throwing out the super chats left and right. And then our spam account said, yeah, Chin, he's our favorite in the chat right now. Double A, appreciate you, bro. But Al, before we wrap up, because we're going to do the show as well, let everybody know where they can catch you on WFAN, the times you're live, where they can follow you on Twitter. Guys in the chat, if you ain't supporting Al, what are you doing with your life? This is everybody's uncle right here. All right?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Go check out Al. Go ahead, Al.
Mr. Wake your ass up.
I told you his slogan with the morning brew, it just went perfect together.
You know what's crazy? When I did my debut, I didn't know what to say. I sat in with Sal. He showed me the buttons or whatever on the screen, and then I didn't know what to say. So what came out originally was "Let's go, baby," and then I went home and I said that fucking sucked. So that sucked. So now I'm like, all right, it's 3 a.m. I wanted to say it in Spanish, so everybody knows I'm Latino, but I'm like, you know what? It just sounds better. Wake your asses up, and now it's stuck. So
fire. There we go.
Love it.
I'm on Thanksgiving morning from 2 to 6 a.m. So wake your asses up, have your cafe pustelo, whatever you drink ready. 2 to 6 a.m. on Thanksgiving. After that, I don't know. The schedule comes out tomorrow or Wednesday. So I don't know anything yet. As far as my social media, at My Infamous Take on Instagram and Twitter, I deleted everything else because people are crazy. And as far as my podcast, I'm working on that this week. And I'm planning to bring a weekly podcast back like I used to do. But just, when you're on the station, you want me personally, I want to save some of that for the show. But now I'm realizing it's too far away. So I'd rather just be in the middle of the week. And then if I'm on the weekends, you catch me twice a week. So at My Infamous Take, and I'm on the Fan this Thanksgiving morning, 2 to 6 a.m. 877-337-6666. It's still surreal to say that.
Yeah.
Fire.
I'm
Everybody
grateful
in the
for
chat,
that, man.
in the description, you'll be able to find the links for Al's X account.
And thank you for the support. I appreciate this opportunity coming on. I would love to come on again with or without Jerry. It doesn't matter. This hour flew by, and you guys keep doing your thing. Tag me on everything that you guys post, and I'll retweet it out as well.
Appreciate
and
that,
I just want to tell people, when you guys follow Al, he is very interactive. And Al, I just want to give you your flowers because when my dog passed away, you was there for me when some people weren't, right? You always was messaging me, checking in on me, making sure I was good. So I definitely appreciate that, brother. And when it comes to interacting, Al definitely interacts with me probably like on a daily or every other day basis. So Al, got to give you your flowers when you come to that, bro. You are super authentic, and this conversation has been amazing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And as I'm a dog, I'm a dog owner myself, so I have a soft spot. Every time I see those videos, I don't make me cry now at the end of the show. Please, let's not do that.
I'm right there with you. So
let's not do it right now. But again, I'm sorry for your loss. I interact. If you're respectful towards me, we can have respectful debates, no problem. The minute you start getting disrespectful, you can kiss my Puerto Rican ass. Left or right cheek, I'll let you pick. And I don't give a shit. So that's that. But I appreciate this opportunity. My stomach actually held up for the hour, so I'm grateful for that. And
Al.
thank you. Hopefully you guys have me on soon again. And like I said, whatever you do, tag me in it and I'll retweet it out. Not a problem.
Appreciate it. And Double A, thank you so much for the super chats, bro. We'll end it with this right here. He said, greatness is having a blood brother who you can share your hoop passion with. I salute you, brothers. I miss mine who passed. Rest in peace to your brother. Double A.
Rest in peace to your brother, man.
Everybody in the chat, you know how it is. Let's go get that W tonight. And on that note, deuces.
Let's go, Knicks.